All right, good morning or good afternoon, Miss Belcher's class. This is Mrs. Belcher, and we are about to do another math mini lesson, okay? So, what we're going to do today is we're going to be adding with three digits, okay? And we know that a digit is just another word for a number. So we're going to be adding with three digits or three numbers. Now, we've done this before because we would do this at the beginning of our math lesson, like right after we did our calendar, a lot of days with our number talks and different problems we would have to do on the floor. So we've done this before. So this is not something that you're not that you've never seen before, but we're just going to kind of get into it a little bit deeper, okay? Now, we've also been talking about tens and ones last week. And so we are gonna we're not gonna do with that quite today. We'll get in that in the next lessons. But we're gonna do adding three digits or adding three numbers. Now, I am going to show you a few ways of how you can do it, and you just do the best way that you can or which works for you, okay? Now, I'm going to show you something really quick because when you're adding three-digit numbers, you might see them in more than one way, okay? And I do want you to be prepared to see them both ways, okay? Now, I want you to look at my problems that I have. I have two, three digits, and they're adding them together. Now, let's look at this first one right here. If you notice, this says 2, 3, and 4. But because we're adding these numbers, we're going to read it just like we would a number sentence. So we say 2 plus 3 plus 4, okay? And so this little line right here, this is just another way when your sometimes your problems will be up and down or vertical. And then sometimes, like we're about to see in a second, it might be side to side. So it's still the same way. We would still read this number sentence the same exact way. But this says 2 plus 3 plus 4. And this little line right here is kind of like our equal sign, I guess we can say. And we would say equal right here, and then we would write our answer right under the line, okay? Then I wrote the same exact problem side to side or horizontal, because sometimes you will see it both ways. Just like when we're just adding two numbers together. Sometimes you might see 2 plus 2 sideways, or sometimes you might see 2 plus 2 up and down. So it's still the same thing, okay? So I've got the same thing with the same numbers. 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals. And then you would write your answer there. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is on your assignment, you are going to see the problems stand up, or they are vertical, okay? Or they're up and down. So I'm going to kind of do my problems just like that, so that when you get ready to do your assignment today, you'll see it the exact same way. But just always know that you might see it side to side, okay? So in fact, let's do that problem I just showed you. So let's do 2 plus 3 plus 4. So we're going to do that same problem, okay? Now, when we're doing this, and we've talked about this before, but it has been some time, when you are adding numbers, let's say, and I'm going to write it on my hand, and I'm not sure how this is going to look on the camera, but we'll see, okay? I've got two numbers. I've got 6 and I've got 5. Now, when I add these two numbers together, I can add 6 and I can add 5. So if I was to do it in my head, I would put 6 in my head and then count on 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. But remember, we talked about we have flip-flops. And remember, when you're adding numbers, just like my 6 was here, I can move my 6 to the other side. And it's still going to give me the same answer. So I had 6 and 5, or I can have 5 and 6. But it still gives me the same answer. So that's what we're going to do with this. When you're adding 3 different numbers, let me show you one way how you can do it. Now, sometimes with these 3 numbers, it gets a little strange sometimes. So you might have to draw circles just so you can see it. So I'm going to do that with the first one. I've got 2, so I'm going to put 2 circles there. I've got 3, so I'm going to put 3 circles there. Then I've got 4, I'm going to put 4 circles there. So this is one way, or one strategy. That's a fancy word. A strategy is just a fancy word that we use to show a way of how we do it. So this is one strategy that we can work this problem. You can use a picture, and then all you do is just count up your circles. So here we go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 9. Okay, now I'm going to do this same problem, but I'm going to do it a different way. Because when you're adding 3 numbers, you can do it more than one way. So let's look at this. I've got 2 and 3 and 4. I've got 2 numbers kind of on the top, 2 and 3. And then I've got 2 numbers on the bottom, 3 and 4. So I'm going to start with my first 2 numbers, 2 and 3. Now, if you notice, I kind of did like a little alligator's mouth. So this is what we call like a little arrow, okay? Because this little arrow lets me know in my head, I'm not going to mess with you 4 right now. I am just going to add 2 and 3, okay? Now, when you're adding these 2 numbers at first, okay, you can use a picture, or if you want to use it in your head, it's up to you. So let's do 2 and 3. Let's put 3 in our head, okay? Let's put 3 in our head, 3, and then we're going to hold up 2. 3, 4, 5. So 2 and 3 makes 5. But guess what? I'm not done yet, because I didn't add up all of my digits or all of my numbers. I just added the first 2. So now after I've added the first 2, I've got to take this answer and then add it to the last number. So now I'm going to add 5 and 4. So let's put 5 in our head. 5. 4 fingers up, and we're going to count on 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Did we get the same answer? Yeah, we did. Okay, we did get the same answer. Now let's do it one last way. So we've done it one strategy, or one way is to just use our circles and to show our circles for each number. The second strategy, or the second way, is to add the first 2 numbers together, get that answer, and add that answer to your last number. Now, just like we could have added the 2 and the 3, the top 2 numbers, we can also add the bottom 2 numbers. So instead of adding 2 and 3, let's do the bottom 2. Let's do 3 and 4. Okay, so let's do 3 and 4. We're going to start with 4 in our head and hold up 3 fingers. But you can also do your circles, whatever that works best for you. So let's do 4 in our head, 4 and 3 fingers. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 3 and 4 gave me 7. But guess what, boys and girls? I'm not done because 3 and 4 gave me 7, but I'm not done because I need to now add 7 to 2. So now we're going to add 7 plus 2. Put 7 in your head. 7. Hold up 2 fingers. 7, 8, and 9. Did we get the same answer? Yeah. So there are different ways to add three digits together. Now I could have also been really tricky and I could have did 2 and 4 first and then added the 3. But whatever way that works best for you, you do it the best way that works for you, okay? But what you have to make sure that you're doing is don't try to rush through it because there's many steps, okay? So guys, I hope you understood this and we'll be coming back to this lesson again. And I hope you have a great day. All right, I'll see you next time.